The 2025 astrology promises to deliver unprecedented, rare, and exciting cycles of change that have a collective impact on our personal growth for the next year and a half. In this video, we're going to take a look at what this means for you. Join me as we take a deep dive into the most significant astrological shifts for 2025. Welcome back, my friends. This is Carrie Konyha. I'm a professional psychic reader, shamanic energy healing practitioner, and astrologer at Soul Star Healing Arts Center in Sedona, Arizona. Today, we're taking a look at the most significant astrological shifts that are happening in 2025. We're going to take a look at what's going on with the nodes of the moon. We're going to take a look at what the eclipses of 2025 mean for you. And most significantly, we're going to take a look at what it means that all of the outer planets are shifting signs this year, which really is a uniquely rare astrological shift that honestly rarely happens. But before we begin here, if you love transformational content that supports your growth, evolution, healing, and empowerment, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, hit the bell, and consider leaving a comment below. This really does support my work and enables me to continue to make this content for all of you here. Evolutionary transformation are the key themes on collective and individual levels as we move into 2025. At the time of me recording this video, we are just days into the nodes of the moon shifting signs. Before I talk about that, let's talk about what the nodes of the moon are and what they represent. The nodes of the moon are mathematical points in space that are connected to when the moon's orbit around the Earth aligns with the pathway of the sun on the ecliptic plane, which is when we have eclipses. And in a little bit, we're going to talk about how the eclipses weave into the mix. But first, these nodes of the moon, we have a north node and a south node. In our natal charts, the north node of the moon represents our true soul calling. It's what our soul naturally gravitates towards experiencing, exploring, and ultimately mastering. One of the main things that astrologers look at when it comes to looking into life path themes is the north node of the moon. It's deeply connected to the direction our spirit feels compelled to move towards in our life. While the south node of the moon in the natal chart represents our past, it can represent karma, but it also represents the soul gifts that we were born into the world with to contribute to humanity. So on one level, the north node then represents how it is that we are channeling our natural soul gifts in alignment with what our true soul calling is. Now, collectively, the transiting nodes, the nodes are always moving, which are connected to an 18-month and an 18-year cycle. In this way, the nodes of the moon stay in a particular zodiac sign for 18 months. And then it takes 18 years for that cycle to complete itself, meaning that the nodes are going completely around the zodiac within an 18-year period. So this has a collective influence on humanity. The North Node is collectively connected to what we're embodying, what we're activating, what we're energizing, what we're saying yes to in our life, what we're empowering. It's new beginnings. While the South Node is connected to collectively what we're releasing, what we're letting go, what we're clearing away. It can also be connected to karma that we're completing. Now, for the past 18 months, the North Node has been in Aries and the South Node has been in Libra. Collectively, that is an overarching theme that is connected to Aries, our individuality, our individual path, our sovereign nature, while the South Node in Libra has been connected to dynamics of relating. So the axis has been me versus we, my individual path versus things that are connected to how you are relating in life, especially when it comes to long-term relationships, because Libra is connected to that. Libra is also connected to energy themes that are relating to balance, harmony, justice, while Aries is our driving force in regard to our unique path, our individuality. So now the nodes are shifting. The nodes always move in retrograde, backwards, opposite of how all of the planets revolve around the sun. So now the North Node has just gone into Pisces on January 11th, and the South Node is in Virgo. So this is a whole new energetic axis that comes with new themes that I'm going to talk about. And the nodes are going to be in these signs for the next 18 months. The North Node in Pisces. Let's take a moment to talk about Pisces themes. And we're going to talk about the conscious high vibration light aspects of Pisces. And then we're also going to talk about the shadow aspects of Pisces. And then we're going to do the same thing for Virgo, because this is going to show you tools that you can embody to move through the energies conscientiously, and also some shadow aspects to be aware of and avoid. The light aspects, the conscious aspects, the evolved aspects of Pisces are connected to spiritual connectivity, your spiritual connection with yourself, your spiritual connection with God's spirit universe. Pisces, therefore, also embodies spiritual attributes such as compassion, awareness, understanding, unconditional love, friendliness, kindness. Pisces is also connected to intuitive processes and creativity. The shadow aspects of Pisces are connected to illusion, which can also be in the realm of delusional thoughts, which oftentimes in Pisces, it's being overly idealistic in your thinking or seeing the world through rose-colored glasses. Pisces is also connected to escapism, just wanting to run and hide from the world and not deal, which can, in worst case scenarios, be connected to addiction. When Pisces is prominent in a person's natal chart or in the collective dynamic, it can reveal where there's been issues in holding strong boundaries, because Pisces really is more about the steam, the mist of life, the eternal gray area. And so with that, there can be issues come up with lack of boundaries, which means collectively being aware of what your boundaries are and holding them is a big part of the growth opportunity that is coming for all of us while the North Node is in Pisces. Pisces is very empathic and deeply feeling, which can be a positive evolved attribute, but there is also a shadow side to that, which can be connected to being overly emotional, which can lead to things such as emotional eating or impulsively making decisions based on your emotions, which actually can become more of a trauma response. And so these are the things to be aware of. This can also lead to an over identification with the story of your woundedness, which can hinder, of course, efforts in the direction of healing. If you're really attached to what your story of woundedness is in a way that feels more like victim consciousness or mentality, then that can act as a huge block to your own evolution, healing, and empowerment. Now, this is, collectively for everyone, we're experiencing this, but the way that you would discern exactly what area of your life this is going to be showing itself in, you want to take a look at your personal natal chart and look to see where the Pisces house is in your chart. I am happy to draw up your natal chart for you, and we can even do a astrological consultation based on your chart. So the nodes are always opposite of each other. And the sign that is opposite of Pisces is Virgo. Both of these signs also have to do with health, wellness, and healing. While the Pisces aspect is more connected to our psycho-spiritual health and well-being, Virgo is more connected to our physical well-being. It also is connected to themes that have to do with our sense of soul work. On everyday 3D practical levels in accordance to classical tropical astrology, Virgo is very connected to the routines in your life, including your health routines, your work routines. But in shamanic astrology, it's way deeper than that. It really just cuts to the core of what is my sense of my soul work? Why am I here? And again, the South Node is in Virgo right now for the next 18 months. So when we have the South Node shows us where we can release, where we can let go, where we can surrender. So if we take the dynamic of this axis, the overarching theme here for all of us collectively is, what do I need to release that is in some way hindering me from being able to drop fully into a grounded sense of purpose regarding my soul work, especially with Pisces in the mix. With Pisces in the mix, intuition is your best friend for the next 18 months. I mean, I feel that intuition is always our best friend, but with the North Node and Pisces, there's an extra emphasis on this. And because of this, I am offering a new program this year that's going to begin either at the end of February or the beginning of March, once Mars goes direct. And this is going to be a group Zoom coaching program that is specifically connected to my Mastering Intuition course for people who are still learning how to navigate, hone, and strengthen your intuition. I recommend taking my Mastering Intuition online on-demand course and then also signing up for the coaching program so that you're getting mentoring and guidance along the way. For people who already do feel really dropped into your intuition and you just want some extra little mentoring, then of course you can take my program without taking the Mastering Intuition course. If you think you might be interested in that, reach out, send me an email to get on the wait list for the Zoom coaching Mastering Intuition mentoring program. Before I talk about the details of the light and the shadow aspects of Virgo, I want to share with you the previous times that we had this Pisces Virgo axis going on, because when you can recall what was going on in your life back then, you're going to be able to move through this cycle more conscientiously. So the most recent time that we had the North and South Node in the Pisces Virgo aspect was in 2006 and 2007. What was going on in your life back then? Take a moment to consider, because this is going to be a repeat of that energetic dynamic. However, obviously, it's not going to be a repeat of the exact experiences. It's just the energy that we have available to harness the power of, to navigate forward, except now we can do it more deliberately. The time before that was in 1987 to 1989. And then the time before that was in 1969 to 1970. Whatever those energetic themes for you have been are going to be a repeat now, but it is going to be different for everyone based on your personal natal chart, not only based on where the Pisces and Virgo aspects of your chart are, but also there's things to consider like, am I having a nodal return? Am I having a reverse nodal return? Am I just coming out of a nodal return? A nodal return means that the nodes are coming back to exactly where they were when you were born. So some of you might be having a nodal return. Nodal returns are significant in the way that it's you initiating a whole new cycle of personal growth. Here's what I mean by being able to move through this most conscientiously. Some of you may recognize where in the past, in 2006, 2007, 87, 89, maybe you did unintentionally fall into some of those shadow sides of Pisces. Now, knowing about this will enable you to not fall into that. So with that, let's get into Virgo. The light aspects of Virgo, the high vibration conscious aspects of Virgo are connected to being very analytical, being very gifted in the sense of order, organization, discernment. Most Virgos are very gifted with communication, problem solving, and there's an insightful practicality to Virgo energy. So what does that tell us in regard to the South Node being in Virgo? That means that we can employ our personal sense of discernment, our insightfulness, our abilities for organization and order in order to navigate whatever it is that we're being guided to clear, release, and let go of. Now, the shadow components of Virgo are connected to being critical, like criticizing to yourself or others. It's connected to perfectionism, always pushing yourself to achieve some unattainable idea of perfection. Virgo energy sometimes puts that on other people as well. Shadow side of Virgo can also be connected to imposing standards on other people, like whatever your standards are, imposing them onto other people, like your way is the only right way, which of course we know is not true. And the other main shadow aspect of Virgo can be connected to a need to be right. So with the South Node in Virgo, on personal growth and healing levels, these are some key themes that we can clear, release, let go of, integrate, or heal. The reason why you want to know what house in your whole sign natal chart is that these are happening, because that's going to show you what the deeper themes are. For example, if the North Node in Pisces is transiting your 10th house, there's going to be an extra emphasis on all those Pisces themes that we talked about in the area of your life that has to do with your public standing, your long-term goals, and your career trajectory. While if you have Virgo South Node in the fourth house, there's going to be issues that have to do with maybe ancestral healing, healing your past, matters that have to do with your deep innermost private nature or your home. Just as an example of how you can get this customized, personalized idea of exactly how to work with these energies in your personal chart. Because the nodes of the moon are in the Pisces Virgo axis, the eclipses that we have this year are also being influenced by these energies. We typically have 2 eclipse seasons throughout a year, which are 6 months apart. And we have North Node eclipses and South Node eclipses. North Node eclipses are connected to what you're activating, what is birthing new in your life, what you're giving empowerment to, where there's growth. Where the South Node eclipses are connected to what's releasing, what's clearing, what's being let go of. Eclipses in general are times of renewal, opportunity, and change. They represent the beginning of something new or the end or culmination of something old. The first eclipse season that we have is coming up in March. On March 14th, 2025, we have a lunar eclipse in the sign of Virgo. So it's a South Node eclipse. Lunar eclipses are always connected to the full moon, while solar eclipses are always connected to the new moon. So the first eclipse of the year in Virgo is a South Node eclipse. That means that the energy collectively influences all of us in ways where our awareness is being illuminated as to what we're ready to bring to completion. Full moons always illuminate our awareness. And with eclipses, we're specifically having our awareness illuminated about either what we want to empower and start or what we want to clear and release. On March 29th, 2025, we have a North Node solar eclipse, which is actually going to be happening in the sign of Aries. So this gives us a final sort of revisiting of what we're just transiting out of over the past 18 months with the North Node having been in Aries. This is going to support all of us in a little revisiting of what had I been intending to activate and empower in 2024 that I want to bring forward into the year ahead, really the next year and a half ahead. Okay? And because eclipses are 6 months apart, each eclipse cycle has like a 6-month cycle of evolution to it. The next series of eclipses that we're going to have is going to be in September of 2025. On September 7th, we have a lunar eclipse in Pisces, which is a North Node eclipse. So this lunar eclipse in September, which also will be a full moon, illuminates our awareness around where we want to put energy into what we've been intending to empower, activate, experience, or manifest. And then on September 21st, we have a South Node solar eclipse in the sign of Virgo, which again is going to be about what we're releasing, purging, and letting go. As we are getting closer to these times, I will, of course, create separate videos for the eclipses that highlight the details of the astrology connected to the eclipses so that we have a more detailed, specific idea of exactly how to harness the power of these energies to support whatever your growth goals are and whatever your manifestation goals are. And I saved the best for last. We truly are entering into a new Renaissance era as we're coming into 2025, 2026, and beyond. And that is because literally all of the outer planets are changing signs. Now, you may or may not understand what that means, but hang in here with me because I'm going to explain it. The outer planets, meaning the planets that are farthest away from us, are Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, Saturn, and Jupiter. The three outermost ones, Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune, have long cycles of orbit. And for that reason, they have generational impact. The outer planets are very connected to influencing culture, technology, and society in a generational context. Now, they all have different cycles of orbits. For example, Pluto stays in a sign for about 20 or 30 years, while Neptune stays in a sign for about 13 to 14 years. Uranus stays in a sign for about 7 years. Saturn stays in a sign for about 3.5 years, and then Jupiter stays in a sign for 1 year. Because these planets all have vastly different orbits, it really is extremely rare that they would all change signs within a year period. And we have that happening now. It started with Pluto, which went into the sign of Aquarius on November 19th of 2024. Neptune will go into Aries on March 30th, followed by Saturn going into Aries on May 25th. Jupiter moves into Cancer on June 9th, while Uranus moves into Gemini on July 7th. So that's literally every outer planet shifting signs within like a 10-month period. In the research that I did on this, looking to see when was the last time this happened, honestly, this has not happened exactly like this within the records of written history that we have. The closest that we have is a similar dynamic that happened in 1478 to 1479, which was in the realm of a Renaissance age. And that's why I'm saying we are in a new Renaissance era right now, collectively within humanity. So we can expect a lot of changes in the realms of advancements in science, advancements in technology. We're already massively seeing that with all the AI stuff. With Neptune, I'm getting this like big picture thing with Neptune, especially with the North Node being in Pisces right now. Over the course of the next few decades, a part of this renaissance that we're having is going to be connected to evolutionizing things that have to do with healthcare, education, and reformation in regard to people who are mentally ill and how those people are cared for, and people who are imprisoned, and just reforming how that's all happening, where people are getting the help that they need and they're not just being jailed away and forgotten about. There's going to be an interesting dynamic with both Saturn and Neptune being in Aries at the same time, because Aries is very much connected to taking action. It's initiative energy. It's very much connected to independence. Saturn has to do with rules, regulations, structures and society, governments. It can also be self-responsibility on a personal level, while Neptune, again, is very connected to the spiritual components of life. So it'll be interesting to see all of the different ways that that shows up. But I feel that this is going to mean a reformation in regard to spirituality, religion, and on a personal level with you. Look to see where the Aries sector of your chart is and how are you rectifying or unifying a personal responsibility towards your own spiritual side, your intuitive side, your creative side. How is there wanting to be an energy of self-responsibility, self-accountability, self-determination in regard to those Pisces themes in your life, which is ruled by Neptune? Uranus and Gemini definitely is going to be another boost of internet technologies, especially AI on the collective. But on personal levels, this can be a revolutionary time for you regarding any creative projects that you have that might require you to utilize advancements in technology through the internet, or things that have to do with channeling higher guidance, because Uranus is connected to being like the higher octave of Mercury, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Any of you who have ambitions that are connected to teaching, sharing information, sharing knowledge, writing, speaking, you're coming into a 7-year cycle of expansion in that regard. And again, take a look at your chart, see where the Gemini sector of your chart is for more information on that. I want to talk about, though, before we wrap it up, about the shamanic significance of the outer planets, because this is really where we can get into the heart of how we can harness the power of these energies consciously to support our personal growth intentions. In shamanic astrology, the outer planets represent the strategies employed by an individual to grow and evolve spiritually. And the transiting outer planets aspecting a person's natal chart, especially aspecting the personal planets, represent initiations of growth cycles. So one of the best, most significant things that we can all do for ourselves is find out where you are at within those evolution strategies and shamanic initiation cycles of growth. And again, we do that by taking a look at what's going on with the outer planets that are transiting and how those are aspecting your personal planets in your natal chart. This is an aspect of astrology that I have a special love for. Really, in my life, guys, I'm more of a psychic reader who uses astrology as a tool for navigating our soul growth rather than just being like a cut and dry astrologer. And as such, I specialize in utilizing astrology in the way of gaining deeper insight and awareness about what our soul lineage is, what our soul gifts are, what our life path is, and what our pathway to those things are. So the biggest question is, how will you harness the power of these energies to supercharge your life path? Do you already have ideas? Let us know in the comments below. Do you need help figuring it out? Look below in the description box to get a hold of me to book a reading. Collective evolutionary transformation is the overarching theme that we're all shifting into now being initiated in 2025 and moving into 2026 and beyond. This is no joke, super empowerment time. But again, knowing it enables us to make the most of the energies and not unintentionally shift into the shadowy side of things, which could prove to be self-sabotaging. I'm going to be coming on again soon with some insights into the upcoming new moon. Until then, all my love, blessings, namaste, and I will see you in the next video.